Let's do volleyball.
Wala wala.
That was beautiful, guys. I think you should record that.
Really?
That was really
Yeah,
something.
we should have a whole stack of things
I
like
like that.
hymn tunes.
1 minute.
Oh, I need slide. I need slide. This slide.
Good morning and welcome to Unity of Charlottesville. My name is Rhonda Cooley and I'll be your celebration assistant because we have a lot to celebrate. How about this weather? This is when it's the best. Love the fall in Virginia, especially now. And of course, I am joined with our senior minister, Don Lansky,
Good morning, everybody.
who's going to have some good things to say today, and our music director, Blair Jones, and her entourage. So again, welcome, and as always, we start with song, and this one you know. It's a traditional.
Oh, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious then that grace appeared, the hour of first belief. The Lord has promised good to me. His word my hope secures. He will my shield and portion be, as long as life endures. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already known. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been there 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we've no best days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Unity of Charlottesville. Unity welcomes people of all faiths, all religions, all cultures, all gender identity and sexual orientation. Everyone is welcome here. And we hope that you'll find something this morning that forwards you on your spiritual journey. I think as we move up to this contentious election time, it's good for us to be together in harmony. Democrats, Republicans, Libertarians, whatever political persuasion you are, that we can be in one place and agree to disagree with love if we need to, and always agree to love. So let's take a moment just to open with prayer this morning. What a blessing it is to be able to take some time out away from our busy activities, our busy lives, just for a moment to be quiet. Just for a moment to be in the company of like-minded souls. Just for a moment to know that we can be supported in our spiritual journey, which has so many different paths, so many different roads. And just by being in a place where we can affirm that that is so. that there are so many ways to welcome different beliefs, different opinions, different ideas, different thoughts. So we take time this morning just to say thank you. Thank you for the blessings in our lives. Thank you for this time to connect with the God of our being, with ourselves, our higher self, with others around us. And we always take time in our Sunday morning prayers to send forth our good wishes, our good feelings and vibrations to the entire community, to the entire world, for all those affected by the hurricanes, all those affected by these horrible wars that are going on. We affirm peace in the Middle East and peace in Ukraine. We just hold that vision of a higher way for human beings to interact. We pray in the name and after the nature of the indwelling Christ. Amen.
And we conclude our prayer today with our statement of faith. Together, there is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God the good, omnipotence. Well, it's that time to stand up, wake up, and have an opportunity to greet your neighbor and people who haven't been here for a while. We'll sing it through once and then have that opportunity. Here we go. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Greet your neighbor. Say hi. How you doing? I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Yes.
Good morning. So, this morning we have youth classes as usual. The elementary class will be downstairs with Peggy, and the teens, the YOUers, will be with me in the Fillmore House. We're doing discussion with the teens on our Eye of the Storm book, and the elementary will be doing A House for Hermit Crab with by Eric Carl. It's a very fun craft project. So in just a few minutes, meet us in the back of the room if you'd like to join us for youth classes. And the Halloween festival is next Sunday. Woohoo! Are there any photos to look at today? I don't know if Vicki added them or not. I wasn't on top of that this week. Are there any fun photos? No, not this week. All right. Well, we will, bring those up at some point next Sunday probably. But next Sunday at 3 o'clock, we are partying out here on the front lawn with a bounce house, a spooky scavenger hunt, campfire, s'mores, pumpkin painting, costume contest, fortune telling, And I would love to invite each and every one of you to join us for some Halloween fun. This is open to all ages, and the costume contest is open to all ages as well. You might win a very yummy scented fall candle, or a bag of candy, or a temporary tattoo. You never know. So anyways, please join us. There's time after service to run home and get your costume on, or wear your costume
wear your
to
costume to
service.
church.
I was getting there, yeah. What are you going to be, Don?
I'm not telling.
Okay, yeah, you have to come. I've got a surprise too. Okay. We'll see whose is better. All right, I need to ask you guys, I'm sorry my announcement's a little long this morning. I'm going to talk fast. I need a few things. I need a little bit of help. I'm going to spend a lot of my time this week promoting the event because I want a lot of Charlottesville families to come. So I'm going to be putting signs out on the road, hand-painted signs. I'm going to be working on that this week, and I'm posting in all the mom Facebook groups about it. We need 2 more people to help us with setup on Sunday after service. So if you are available to do that, please find me after service this morning or email me, yfm@unitycharlottesville.org. We also need 2 people during the event from 3 to 5 p.m. to help facilitate, and we need someone to be in the foyer of the church to kind of monitor activity because we want to leave the doors open for the bathroom use, but we need someone to be in the church to help, just be extra set of eyes, and so let me know if you're available to help out. Thank you, guys. Last thing is, who likes to buy Halloween candy? Pumpkin bread, fall goodies, anybody? If you're at the grocery store this week, pick up some extra, bring them next Sunday to service. We could use some extra fun, yummy things to eat to serve at the event. And if you're a photographer, that's my last ask. We want pictures of the event, and my iPhone only does so much. So if you're a photographer, if it's a hobby or passion project, please let me know. I'd love help capturing the event. All right, that's all. Children, Uniteens, YOUers, teachers and parents, you are loved, special, and important.
So bring your child within to that. Sounds like it's going to be a great event.
So today, after the service, immediately after the service in the sanctuary, our annual meeting, Greg is going to come up and say about that.
Good morning. It's great to see all of you here this morning, and I hope each and every one of you will stay for our annual meeting right after service today. We've got wonderful board candidates to elect, as well as a nominating committee. And there's also going to be several updates on things that are going on here at Unity, things that have happened and things that are going to happen in the next year. So hope you all will join us. For those of you who are voting members, we have ballots for you to get. There'll be a table right outside the sanctuary. So if you'll just go right out there right after service and sign in and get your ballots, and then you can come back in. Thanks.
Great. There it goes. That's okay. Yeah, and because of the annual meeting, there is no hospitality today, so we'll just remain in the sanctuary right after church.
Needs no introduction.
Well, this Saturday is the Autumn Meditation Retreat, the 4th and final one for 2024 of this year. And I just wanted to share with all of you how very deeply grateful I am for the opportunity to be able to serve this community in this way. It has been just a great honor, a great pleasure, a great joy to be with so many of you, actually 125 participants over the life of these meditations. And to serve you, to create this with you has just been a dream come true. I really trust now that many of you have now a meditation practice that is very vital in your lives and that you can rely on it as a strong spiritual practice. That is my hope for all of this. Many of you are signed up for Saturday. There's still a few spaces available if you'd like to join us. And Come and marinate in the silence together. It's a great time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So save the date, November 3rd, you're invited to a labyrinth walk. And guess what? We have one right out here. It's really nice. Let's honor our ancestors, human and more than human.
And Marianne Wamhoff, who's facilitating, is a trained labyrinth facilitator, so she's really, really good at this stuff. So hope you'll join us there. You know, we had this election coming up. Did you know that? How many people feel some degree of anxiety about the elections? Almost everybody. So what I'm going to be doing here is on Monday, the day before the election, we're going to have a silent, it won't be silent, it'll be a prayer vigil online on Zoom from 12 to 12:30. That's November 4th, Monday. And then on Wednesday, you know, we're not sure that we'll know the results of the election on Tuesday night. But Wednesday, the sanctuary will be open all day if you just want to come and hang out, except for, Vicki, what time is the Ollie class? Do you remember? Yeah, so 1:30 to 3, there'll be a class in here. But other than that, the sanctuary will be open. The meditation chapel, do you all know we have a meditation chapel? You know that, you know, when you look out, if you go outside and you look up to the upper building there's a building with all this clear plate glass windows. That's a 24/7 meditation chapel. People can go in there anytime of day or night and just be quiet, meditate, pray, relax, reflect. There's a combination. You can call the church office for the combination, and you can do that at any time. That'll be open all day long on Wednesday. And then Wednesday at, what time? 1 o'clock in the sanctuary, in person, I'll be here for an informal gathering. Is that right? Ollie's not meeting then, right? They're not here, okay. So 1 o'clock Wednesday, I'll be here for an informal gathering. If you just want to come and just share, vent, whatever your feelings are. And I'll also do that again at 7:15 here in the sanctuary as well. So just an informal gathering for anybody who wants to, okay? Gary Renard is an international speaker, author. He wrote Disappearance of the Universe, written many other books. This is the first time in many, many years that we brought in an international speaker. He's coming from California, and not very many of us have signed up from our church, but he's doing an all-day workshop, and it's called Going All the Way Home, and he will be talking about forgiveness. He'll be talking about unconditional love, many, many other things. A very powerful speaker, and he's a very acknowledged expert in Course in Miracles. So you can check him out online, and you can also watch a short video of him online as well at unitycharlottesville.org, and then go to the events at the top of the page.
And Unity's Earth Care Team meeting will meet on November 10th in the large classroom at 12:15.
We have another concert with Kate McLeod on Saturday, November 16th, and her music is also on our website, and she's fabulous. So take a listen, see if you want to come to that.
And another save the date, November 17th from 1 to 3, we're going to have a Unity Work Day. That means working out here, fixing things up before the winter comes.
And Jeremy, there's a whole bunch of stuff that people brought in. Thank you so much for your generosity. That's going to Asheville. Are you taking that down to Asheville? And yes. Great, perfect. So thank you so much. And and thank you all for that.
And as always, we have our healing half hour every Wednesday from 6:30 to 7 on Zoom. It's been going on since COVID, and it's probably going to go on for a very, very long time. So we have this opportunity now to affirm together as a community our mission statement. Trust their unique divinity, making a positive difference in the world.
This is a song I've done a number of times here, and so some of you might feel that you would like to sing along when we get to the final chorus, even though the words are not going to be up there.
They're easy. You can.
I had a dream or a vision one night. Who can tell? I sat down at a bar. wishing well, but where you've been hiding don't matter at all. We're just glad you dropped almost last. So what'll you have, my friend, while you still got the time? Will it just be the usual or something divine? Try my special reserve and you won't thirst again. It's your choice. What'll you have, my friend? So I said, go on then and set me up. And he poured me a glass as pure as spring water, so I knocked it straight back. And I suddenly felt all my life I'd been blind, and I was seeing things clearly for the very first time. I felt optimistic, the world seemed benign. I smiled and he chuckled, it works every time. Call it love's distillation, the truth or the way. Then he turned to my neighbor and I heard him say, what do you have, my friend? I walked out the door. I'd never left a bar feeling that way before. And I woke the next morning, my heart filled with light, wishing I'd have that same dream every night. Oh, let's hear that fiddle. And then last night, I returned to the Wishing Well bar. It was standing room only, so I watched from afar. Jesus called to me, friend, if you're wanting a seat, you might try the Pagoda Bar just down the street. Well, thank you, Jesus, I said, but I'll just wait my turn. I'm craving a glass of your special reserve. Friend, the bartender there has the same recipe. Yeah, old Buddha's been pouring it longer than me. Well, I confess I was somewhat taken aback. I said, why would you send him your business like that? And he said, with a beautiful smile on his face, nobody can corner the market on grace. So what'll you have, my friend, while we still got the time? Will it just be the usual or something divine? Try my special reserve and you won't thirst again. It's your choice. What do you have, my friend? Thank you. Thank you for singing along. Thank you. I couldn't do that song just anywhere, but it sure fits here.
Well, two caterpillars are trying to escape from a spider, and so they climb up in this branch and they get all the way to the edge and they realize that they're trapped. There's nowhere else to go. Hold on tight, says the first caterpillar. He quickly chews through the branch. It snaps and they begin to fall, but he grabs two protruding twigs and uses them to steer the branch with amazing grace. "This is incredible," said the second caterpillar. "How in the world are you doing that?" And the first caterpillar scoffs, "Am I the only one in this darn forest who knows how to drive stick?" I know, I deserve that for sure. So I do have a question for you this morning, but before you raise your hands, let me explain the question. How many of you have ever made a serious mistake, what you consider to be a serious mistake? Don't raise your hands yet. I don't mean a mistake where you turn left and you turn right, or you walked out of the house, with the wrong colored socks, or you were late to an appointment, or you put salt in your coffee instead of sugar. Not that kind of mistake. I mean a really huge mistake, a big mistake, a colossal mistake, like getting in trouble with the law, or worse, with your parents, or you broke up a relationship or a friendship, or you did something or said something that affected someone you love, or maybe you married the wrong person, maybe more than once, even, right? So you can raise your hands. How many of you have ever made yeah. Many of us have made big mistakes, but we're still here somehow. Isn't that amazing? We're still here. We survived, amazingly. So what if there are no mistakes, just as an idea? What if there's a divine plan and a divine purpose for every single one of us? What if God has a plan for us of this absolute good? What if the universe is rigged in our favor and on our behalf? After all, how did we do it? How did we survive? How did we come through all that? And from the vantage point of hindsight, we get to look back on our mistakes, so-called mistakes, only to find that they are foundations for our learning, that somehow we became a better, wiser, stronger person because of them. And if that's the case, is it because of karma, or is it because of grace? So there's a debate about these two ideas. Maybe a better word would be paradox between these two ideas of karma and grace. The law of cause and effect says that everything you experience, everything, is a result of some past action. As you sow, so shall you reap. And this is expressed as the law of mind action, or the law of attraction. And it's expressed also in that it says that our current or past experiences are the result of our past thoughts, our past thinking, and our past actions. Thoughts held in mind produce after their kind. But grace is different from karma, I think. A classic New Thought definition of grace is that grace is God's goodness given to you in greater proportion than you give of yourself to God. Or in other words, you receive more or you receive better than you thought you deserved. And this gift is yours because it's a gift of God, simply because you're a child of God. You don't have to earn it. You don't have to prove that you're worthy or deserving. It's yours unconditionally. So grace is a product of God's perfect love. It comes because you are part of God's creation. And therefore, what if grace is outside the law of karma, which is really a paradox, right? Grace is a gift of God that Paul describes in the letters to the Ephesians. For by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not the result of works, so that no one can boast. So we could say that it's our good karma that we survived or overcame our past experiences and our colossal mistakes, or we could say that it's by God's grace. There but for the grace of God go I. And this is my assumption about every person that's here this morning. If you're here this morning at a Unity Church service, It's because you've recognized that there's a deep yearning within your soul to grow, to understand, to be a better person, to know God, to know truth, or just to be around like-minded souls on your spiritual journey. You've had a spiritual awakening somewhere along in your life. You're not just sleeping and sleepwalking through your life anymore. And I would assert that to be in a spiritual community like this is a really amazing blessing, really an amazing grace that this exists. And that's why I think it's so important that people come to the annual meetings every year, because this gives you an opportunity to be a part of the present and future of your spiritual community. Now, some of us may feel that we're in a process or in the midst of a process that's uncomfortable. You know, we may be facing challenges. We may be questioning our faith. We may be wondering how we're going to get through it. But if you've gotten this far, that's an amazing thing. That's an amazing thing. And personally, I believe that karma functions within the law of grace. Karma functions within the law of grace. I believe that our past actions, our cause and effect, lead us in the direction of our ever greater union with God over the span of cosmic time, and that it's by and through the grace of God that this plan unfolds. But that's just me. But I do know this for sure. I know that some of the things that have happened to me in my life are simply amazing, far beyond my comprehension, far beyond my ability to believe, especially at the time, that I deserved it. And I'm sure some of you feel that way as well. Actually, by show of hands, how many of you feel that at some time in your life you received more than you deserved, that you felt you deserved? Yeah, that's amazing. That is grace. You were touched by something, you were touched by something or some power that you would call grace. And I had the experience of God's grace last week. I wish I could say I had it every moment, but you know, last week after Sunday service, it was Patricia's birthday, so I took her to Virginia Beach for a couple of days, and we had this room on the ocean that was with a balcony. And you know, most of you know that I was in the cruise business for a cruise travel agent for a number of years, and I've been on 45 cruises. So I've gotten to see many, many sunrises on board a ship, but I haven't seen a sunrise in a long time. And I got to see one this past week, and it was cloudy, so it wasn't one of those spectacular sunrises, but it was, you know, it just had that special quality, that special feeling, that silence and quiet and just majesty. And, you know, I felt part of, I guess the grace in that moment was feeling a witness to this cosmic daily ritual that is full of possibilities, a new day, a new beginning, full of possibility, not just for me, but for all living beings when the sun rises. So that was an incredible moment of grace, and I was very grateful. And I think that oftentimes grace and gratitude go hand in hand, don't you think? That when you feel grace, you also feel gratitude. When you feel gratitude, you also can feel grace. So in a moment, I'm going to invite you to pick a partner, and I want to invite you to share one example of an experience of grace that you've had in your life. Okay? If you are brave, pick someone that you don't know. And if you're watching online, you can do this with a partner at home, or you can just be quiet and reflect within yourself about a moment that you experienced grace, right? So you'll have about 1 or 2 minutes each. So pick a partner. And what is one example of an experience of grace that you've had in your life? If you haven't already switched, please switch so the other partner has a chance. So let's begin to finish and wind up. And you can thank your partner. Okay, let's come on back. I need a high school principal to help me here. Yeah. We could go on, couldn't we? We kind of go on talking about this for a long time. So, do you know the story of the man who wrote the hymn Amazing Grace that we sang this morning? Anybody know the story? John Newton, this is John Newton. John Newton was born in 1725 to the son of a commander of a British merchant vessel. And he was involuntarily impressed into service on a British warship in 1744, and then he deserted. And he was captured, and he, for some reason, requested service on a slave trading ship. And he became the personal servant of a slave trader who brutally abused him. And he was rescued by a sea captain who was a friend of his father, and eventually he worked his way up to become the captain of his own slave trading ship. And on one of his voyages, there was a violent storm, and he thought he and everybody else was going to die. And so he prayed, and he cried out, "Lord, have mercy upon us." And when he and the ship were spared, he got more interested in Christianity for some reason, go figure. He came to believe that the grace of God had saved him. But he still continued in the slave trade for another 7 years until he got a serious illness and he retired. And after that, he taught himself Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. He studied intensely the Bible, and he gradually embraced what he called his true conversion. And eventually, Newton was ordained in the Church of England, and he preached all around England. And he wrote Amazing Grace, the hymn, in 1779, at a time when he had repented from his days as a slave trader, and he became an outspoken abolitionist. And later in his life, he became the spiritual support and advisor to William Wilberforce, who was a member of British Parliament. And Wilberforce was on a campaign to end slavery in the British Empire for 20 years. And finally, in 1833, he was gone by then, but the Parliament did end slavery in Great Britain in 1833. So I want to show you a scene. This is from a 2006 movie called Amazing Grace, about the life of John Newton. And this scene is towards the end of Newton's life, where he's meeting with the younger Wilberforce.
This is my confession. You must use it. Names, ship's records, ports, people. Everything I remember is in here. Although my memory is fading, I remember two things very clearly. I'm a great sinner and Christ is a great Savior. You must publish it. Blow a hole in their boat with it. Damn them with it. I wish I could remember all their names. My 20,000 ghosts. They all had names. Beautiful African names. We call them with just grunts, noises. We were apes. They were human. I'm weeping. I couldn't weep till I wrote this. I once was blind, but now I see. Didn't I write that too?
Yes, you did.
Well, now at last it's true. Now go, we'll go. We've lots of work to do, you and I.
So as you know, Newton's original words were, "Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me." That's the way that many of us learned that hymn. But in Unity, we changed the words to "save a soul like me." And we do this because we don't buy into the idea that we're sinners and wretches. We just don't buy into it. We may have made mistakes. We may have made even colossal mistakes. But that's not our essence. That's not how we believe God sees us. And those of you who are parents know that no matter what your children do or how they behave or how infuriated you become, you still love them, right? And you don't love them any less even when they're doing something that you consider as wrong or improper. That was the lesson of the prodigal son, right? The father couldn't forgive his son because he had never condemned him in the first place. And if you've ever noticed an infant in a room full of adults, it's as if every adult has an eye out for the well-being of that child. You know, if a child gets too close to an electrical outlet or a sharp-cornered table, some adult, even if it's not their parent, is hopefully there to protect them, right? To save them from that, whether or not it's their parent. So what if the Creator, what if the God of our understanding is just like that? You know. So some of you know the story. You know, in 1986, I was rear-ended at high speed on I-95 in Miami and crushed like an accordion into the car in front of me. And I can remember that exact moment and the moments afterwards and the anxiety of trying to make sense of what had just happened and not being able to feel my legs, thinking that I was paralyzed, and being rushed to the hospital and an ambulance and all that stuff. And in that split second, feeling that the whole trajectory of my life had changed. You know, many of us have had that split second, right? Where you just know that everything has changed in that moment. So was that grace or was that karma? Well, amazingly and obviously, I was not paralyzed, but I can tell you that that accident put me on a healing journey that completely altered and transformed my life. Everything changed. And so when I look back on that horrible experience, I can now see God's grace in it as well. And so what if grace is not a magic spell that God either places on us or doesn't place on us as if by whim? What if grace is simply a decision to change our minds, right? What if grace is a change of perspective so that we can appreciate and be thankful for what's around us and what's been around us all the time? St. Francis of Assisi wrote, "I once spoke to my friend, an old squirrel, about the sacraments. He got so excited and ran into a hollow in his tree and came back holding some acorns, an owl feather, and a ribbon he had found. And I just smiled and said, 'Yes, dear, you understand. Everything imparts God's grace.'" So what if grace is always available because God or Spirit is always available right now, right here, right in this moment? "Lo, I am with you always unto the end of time," said Jesus. And so God never goes anywhere, the God of our understanding, I should say. But we do. We go. We get busy. We forget. What if grace is like rowing a canoe down a river and just allowing the current to gently guide us along our way? Sometimes we stick our oar in the water and we row. Sometimes we pull our oars out and we just coast very easily and effortlessly in the right direction. And we've all had experiences of being in the flow, and we've all had experience of rowing against the current, right? Those are the times when life seems really hard and we just feel like we're just stuck in struggle. So Barty Flanagan was riding along his horse one day when suddenly they hit some quicksand and they were trapped, horse and all, and the only thing sticking out was Barty's head and his shoulders and his arms. And it seemed like he was a sure goner. But then suddenly John O'Reilly, big John O'Reilly, wandered by. "Help," Barty shouted, "I'm sinking." "Don't worry," assured Big John. "I am the strongest man in Ireland. I'll pull you right out of there." And so Big John bent over, he grabbed Barty's hand, and he pulled with all his might to no avail. And after 2 more unsuccessful events, Big John said, out of breath, "It's no use, I can't do it. I'm going to need to go and get some help." So Big John turned around, and as he turned around and started to leave, Barty frantically shouted out, Big John, do you think if I pull my feet out of the stirrup, it might help?" Anybody have their feet in the stirrup? Because if we want to be in the flow, we have to cooperate a little bit, maybe. We have to be willing to let go of some resistance or attachments to allow the free flow of Spirit in our lives. A Course in Miracles says it this way: Spirit is in a state of grace forever. Your reality is only Spirit. Therefore, you are in a state of grace forever. So then our task as truth students is to make a decision. Our task is to change our minds, to enlarge our perspective, to actively engage and practice and participate in appreciating the blessings that are in our life. That's how we can open ourselves to moments of grace, being fully present to the now moment. Unity author Margaret Pounders writes, "Grace is not bestowed as a result of belief professed or ritual performed. Neither is it a reconciliation with God, since there is never a separation. When we fully recognize that we are always protected, regardless of appearances to the contrary, that God dwells in us as love and wisdom and expresses as personal guidance and protection, then we are living under the law of grace. Grace has nothing to do with anything that anyone else has ever done, nor with any outward activity on our part. Grace is an inner realization that we are already one with God, always have been, always will be, and that the only separation is a false belief in our own mind." So grace is simply the truth of being that which we are. I was blind, but now I see. So grace is given freely to us, whether or not we feel we deserve it. We can't steal it. We can't borrow it. We can't buy it. We can't earn it. We can only accept it or refuse it, reject it. That's our choice. So let's prepare for meditation. Thank you.
My grandma knew the power of prayer. She said it follows you everywhere. Whenever I was at the top of her list, I knew my life was one colossal mess. Now I'm a grandma and I pray too. Sometimes there's nothing else I can do. Letting the kids make their own mistakes, tough choices, tough breaks, and I tell them wait and see, better things are yet to be. There's a shadow across the sun, it will soon be gone. Every cloud's gotta roll along, life goes on. We make our plans on this spinning ball. Sometimes they fly, sometimes they fall. A broken dream no one can mend, a fairy tale with a roof full end. The land of plenty is stripped bare. The golden city dissolves in air, but the story isn't done. The sequel's just begun. If you'll only wait and see, better things are yet to be. There's a shadow across the sun, it will soon be gone. Every cloud's gotta roll along, life goes on. There's a shadow across the sun, it will soon be gone. Every cloud's gotta roll along, life goes on.
In the shadow of the moon, even the lark suspends its tune. Mother Nature powers down and lets the world spin round. And you'll see when that shadow is gone, it will be a brand new dawn. The birds start up their song again. The foxes come out of their den. The bees come buzzing from the hive, and all of nature will come alive. Joy will rise up in your heart, a new morning and a fresh start. If you'll only wait and see, better things are yet to be. There's a shadow across the sun, it will soon be gone. Every cloud's gotta roll along, life goes on. There's a shadow across the sun, it will soon be gone. All the birds will resume their song, and we'll all be singing along. When that shadow's gone, life goes on.
So let's take this time now in meditation as we close our eyes and take a deep breath. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. I was blind and now I see. What amazing gifts as we think about our own lives and just those moments where we've moved beyond or we've overcome something colossal. And there's a spirit of relief, there's a spirit of gratitude, a spirit of thanksgiving, a feeling that we're part of something much, much larger than we thought we were, that we are something much, much more than we thought we were. Connected to the infinite, timeless, unbounded, to a stream of wisdom that moves from generation to generation for thousands and thousands of years of becoming, of evolving, right to this very, very moment. Grace saved a soul like me. In that awareness, I give thanks. I am so grateful. Look how far I've come. Look how far. So if there's a situation that you're facing right now, some healing for yourself or a loved one, or some guidance that's needed, we'll take some time in the silence and imagine the power of grace in that situation, in the silence. So let's begin to bring our meditation to a close. I was blind, but now I see, and my vision, my awareness continues to grow, to evolve. That's a commitment, that's a choice. To see more clearly. To continue my spiritual practices, to continue my studies, continue looking to positive and constructive ways of moving through life in my thoughts, in my words, in my deeds, in my actions. My religion is kindness. Let's take time now to open the eyes slowly.
Thank you, Don. As always. So it's our time now to give back and give thanks for all the gifts that we receive each and every day. But first, I'd like to ask, is there anybody here for the first time? We'd just like to acknowledge you and say welcome. Anybody here for the first time? Welcome. Glad to see you today. We make it easy here at Unity to give. You can text, and you can go through Tithely on our website, or of course right here in person into the butterfly net. And we appreciate all the gifts that we receive. So let's hold those gifts in our hearts and our hands and bless them. Together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you.
Please sing with us on this beloved song.
Let me start again. One more time.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Amazing grace, now flowing down, healing my heart with a love that sets me free. God's grace flows down and covers me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. Amazing grace, now flowing down, healing my heart with a love that sets me free. God's grace flows down and it covers me. It covers me.
So we see these gifts that have been given today and going out and doing great works and multiplying 10 times over. Thank you, Mother, Father, God.
So next week, keep on keeping on. And this afternoon, again, remember that we have this annual meeting immediately following the service. So our goal is to have a good, moving along, concise meeting so you can be out of here by about 1 or 1:15 at the very, very latest. But if you came in late, there's no hospitality today. We're going to stay in the sanctuary. If you're a voting member, you'll need to go out into the lobby and sign in so that you can vote. Everyone is welcome to an annual meeting, but only the voting members can vote. And you'll hear updates, financial updates, updates from the Youth and Family Ministry, updates from me, from the Board of Trustees. And we'll also elect 2 new members of our 2025 Board of Trustees and a 2025 nominating team as well. So we hope you'll stay for that. I want to thank everybody who helped out this morning, Greg and Bob up in the sound booth, and Cindy's blessing team with Maria Salidas as well, and our incredible music team, Blair Jones, and all of our musicians, praise singers, Rhonda. So thank you, everybody. And Blair's beautiful music, your beautiful songs, thank you so much. Yes. So let's stand for our prayer for protection.
And thank you, Donna.
Oops. So together, the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and wherever God is, all is well.